A rock and rod exclusive.
Hip-hop. A cultural movement that started in the early 70s. But wait, people argue that hip-hop started in Africa. Some said that hip-hop started in Jamaica. Walk with me as we pinpoint where hip-hop started and how we can conclude that it did start in the Bronx. Did you know in the early 70s it was taboo to scratch a record? It was unheard of. It's forbidden. And Grandmaster Flash said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and became the best DJ of all times almost. Just by not listening to people and then have fun. Shout out to Grandmaster Flash.
My definition of what I call looping. First DJ to put his hands on the record and using the record as a controller, as well as the sound source. I was very much hated when I came up with the system. I gotta tell you, Herc, it was so hard. I was trying to find a job doing this, and nobody would hire me. I was known for making the record dirty. I was known for rubbing the record back and forth and destroying the record. I was known for disrespecting by putting a mark on it with the crayon. And the only person that truly understood what it was that I was doing was my first prodigy. His name was Grand Wizard Theodore. You see, Herc, from where I come from, looping, if you look on the screen, it's a structure, series, or a process, which is the end that is connected to the beginning. That means there is no stops, there are no starts. And when I came up with this, I did this in honor of the breakdancer. I did this in honor of the two-stepper. I definitely did this in honor of the people that did that Latin dance, the hustle. You see, Herc, with this style, it spawned all these techniques behind it, like the cut, and the rub, and the scratch, and the scribble, and the transform, and the orbit, and the crabbing, and the flares. All this is done with this technique.
There's a recreation room for the building. You rent the room, that's what we did. So this was a breath of fresh air for us, going somewhere we could hear some music. Turned out to be a success.
Herc was one of the first DJs in the Bronx to borrow a technique from Manhattan's downtown discotheques, the use of two turntables. This meant DJs could play music without interruption, mixing from the end of one record straight into the beginning of another. But unlike other DJs, Herc didn't play disco music. Instead, he specialized in the kind of hard-edged funk music that others ignored. What singled out Herc as a DJ was his keen eye for crowd reaction. He noticed that the energy on the dance floor hit a peak during the instrumental breaks in the records, the point when the singing stops and the music carries on. From this simple observation, Herc came up with an idea that would become the basis of hip-hop.
One night, I'm waiting for the record to play out. I said, I wonder if I put that to myself. I said, if they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together. And I told them, I said, I'm going to try something new tonight. I'm going to call it a merry-go-round.
Herc's merry-go-round meant that instead of playing whole records, he would play just the instrumental breaks, mixing between them to create a continuous dance rhythm.
I started out with James Brown, clap your hand, stomp your feet. That part right there, when the break, boom, I had to come in with bongo rock. Still no vocals in it, and I would go into Baby Huey. know, the Mexican. And it was like, whoa, I think we got some hit, you know, 'cause people was like, oh, whoa, everybody was like, yeah, 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 I'm feeling this, oh, yeah, 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 you know.
The instrumental breaks on the records became known as the break beats, and Herc's merry-go-round formula of mixing between them provided the blueprint for a new music.
Oh man, Kool Herc was the first person I ever heard that do anything like that, you know? Because I'm used to being in the house with my mother and we pull a James Brown record on and just let it play through. Kool Herc would play the break part back and forth, and that really astonished me. I was really impressed when I seen that, something like that, because I'd never seen anything like that before.
I saw Kool Herc, and I was 14 years old, and that very day when I saw his sound system and how loud it was and the records that he played would just change the way the party was going, and that's what I wanted to do.
Come on, y'all. Let's go. Grab your stuff. Let's go take a ride to the Bronx. Let's go take a ride to 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Who with me?
But in 1973, an immigrant from Jamaica threw a party here for his sister that changed the whole world. That DJ's name was Kool Herc, and the place we're at right now is the Bronx, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, the birthplace of hip-hop. It's a really special moment. We're actually in the block where this is where it started, you know. This is the birthplace. In there is the rec room where Kool Herc held the party that is the birthplace of hip-hop. Can you imagine that? Look at that. It was Kool Herc who identified the break and making it come around again. That's the part that people used to really get excited to, and so the DJ would let's keep looping that part. And that was the part that the B-boys would come out to, the break dancers. That's what they called, break dancers. They were dancing to the break. Then you've got the MC, whose job is to make sure the party bubbles. Hands in the air, say ho.
Was the name Coke because you were drinking Coca-Cola, or is it because you...
No, I mean, originally my name was Coco. You know, that was from the chocolate milk thing. My grandfather gave me that name. But then as I got older, I couldn't, you know, I didn't mind the women calling me Coco, but you couldn't have guys calling you Coco, you know. So they would just call me Coke, C-O-K-E, not to say drug-wise or Coca-Cola drinking, just Coke. And then I added the LaRock to it. My family comes from North Carolina. I was born in the Bronx. I could dance pretty well, you know. And then me and Herc really got real tight, you know. We started hanging together and rolling. And then he said he was going to have a party, you know. And he had the party, and our whole crew came. We all
Is that
came.
Cindy's birthday party?
That's Cindy's birthday party.
On the mic at Cindy's birthday party?
Yeah, but it was just, like I said, just calling out my friend names.
Right.
You understand?
Just recreate it, like the first rap you did. Can you remember anything?
The first one was like, there's not a man that can't be thrown, a horse that can't be rolled, a bull that can't be stopped. There's not a disco that I, Coke the Rock, can't rock. And I put the echo in the echo chamber. That's why you got Coke the Rock, Cool DJ Herc and Coke the Rock, the series.
Okay, so but at the very first party, you guys were rocking the echo and making rhymes.
Yeah, so I would be in the room. I was in the recreation room, but then the where we played the music, I was there by myself. So no one seen me talking for about the first 2 weeks. They didn't really know that was me in there. While I played the music and while I did what I did, talked and rapped, and from there on, it just was like everything I said really related to the party, you know. So if I was saying this then, how was they saying it? You know, just like you rock and you don't stop, you know. That was Coke La Rock.
You started it.
I started you rock and you don't stop, because the crowd went like this. And I was like, oh, wow, they rocking and you don't stop. Just like Sugar Hill and them, I hate to say names, but when they took Hotel Motel, that was me. That came from a rhyme I put together after I felt what I knew what I was doing, right, which is called A Freak is Unique.
Most of that Sugar Hill Gang first song was all ripped off Grandmaster Caz.
Okay, and I agree to that. I agree to that, but because I went to school with Hank. Right. Hank wasn't a DJ. Right. Hank was nowhere. He wasn't even a street guy. Not to down him. He's my brother. I love Hank. Right. But he wasn't into the hip hop game. But I heard he had the equipment, you know, and it went with the guys then, you know. And once I stopped before Flash and them even became who they was. I stopped before any of these guys even became who they was.
Hip to the hip, hip hop, you don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right.
On time.
It's tricky. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. It's tricky. 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 It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky.
We're back once again by popular demand. It's 87, y'all. So no more Roxanne. Just the everlasting name. Oshante said plain. I let the new jacks rain, but now I'm here to retain what's rightfully mine. And I think you should find that. Tell me what I cannot do, baby. Come on and work your body.
Now, you wanna be like Bob. Bob got it going on with no job. And everything Rob got, he got
From the education of a TV station. But look around, here go the sound of a record ball. Boom and pound. When I shut them down, I shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. I shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down.
Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first.
The ladies will kick it, the rhyme it is wicked. Those that don't know how to be pros get evicted. A woman could bear you, break you, take you.
Back in the days on the boulevard, I landed. We used to kick routines and the presence was fitting. It was I, the abstract.
And me, the 5-footer. I kicks the mad style, so step off the Frankfurter.
Yo, Fife, you remember that?
Cash moves everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. Cash moves everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
It's been 22 long, hard years. I'm still struggling. Survival got me bugging, but I'm alive on arrival. I'm going back to say what it's
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my
money change the situation. Miscommunication lead to complication. My emancipation don't fit your equation. I was on the humble, you on every station. Someone play young Lauren like she done.
Yep. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you, and I'm down for you always.
The old town road I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached. Head is matted black, got the bushes black to match. Riding on a horse, ha, you can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley, you ain't been up.
Wait a minute. I just found out that there's 5 elements of hip hop. I already told you about MCing. I already told you about DJing. I already told you about breaking. What's next?
fresh. I am the architect of what you call the beatbox. I created the... This was back in 1982 when I did it. And nobody was doing it. And then I started to advance it more. And then I started to teach different people to beatbox. And different people used to come around me. Bismarcky used to come around me. Everybody thought I was crazy. Curtis Blow. One day he didn't have some turntables and he asked me to come up there on the stage because he didn't have no music. And I had to come up there when he was singing his song. I had to get up there and do the beatbox behind him, and that's when my name exploded because Curtis Blow was the biggest thing in hip-hop at the time.
Y'all give it up. Y'all give it up for my brother, Mr. Curtis Blow. Yeah.
Okay. It looks like we finished everything. We got MCing, we got DJing, we got breaking, we got beatboxing. That's it, man. Man, this is gonna be a good. Wait a minute. 5 elements. Whoa, yo, we forgetting one more thing. The final thing that's left in the 5 elements of hip hop, and it's
graffiti art. Today it's called graffiti art. But anywhere you go in the world, graffiti art is the world's oldest art. This is hominin humans doing graffiti. What is graffiti? My self-expression in art on a wall. The earliest form of graffiti, berry juice in the mouth, blow it onto the cave wall so you see my hand, and check it out. They blew it. They didn't draw, they didn't pick up a pen and write this stuff. No, they put juice in their mouth and spit it onto the wall over their hands so they make an impression with their hands. This is known science. This is science all over the world. The earliest writing, the earliest human writing ever is graffiti. If you give a baby a pen or any writing material, a child, any writing material, they'll go right to the wall. Yes. No human, if you give them a pencil, a young kid, you give them a pencil, they're gonna go like this. Show me a table. They're gonna take the pen and out of their own natural self, they're gonna go right to a wall and start writing the wall. And the first thing they're gonna write is their name. This is known all over the world. It doesn't matter what sociologists think. We have higher knowledge. They need to learn before opening their mouth.
1520 Cedric Avenue at Hip Hop Boulevard. Yeah. Walk that. There you go. This big business in here. There you go. Count down. Ready? Let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hip Hop Resolution 2021. In the Senate of the United States of America, 117th Congress, First Session, July 29th, 2021, Mr. Schumer, ladies and gentlemen, for himself, Mr. Cassidy and Mr. Padilla submitted the following resolution, which was considered and agreed to. Resolution designating August 11th, 2021 as Hip Hop Celebration Day, designating August 2021 as Hip Hop Recognition Month, and designating November 2021 as Hip Hop History Month. Whereas, on August 11th, 1973, at a back-to-school jam organized by his sister Cindy Campbell and held at the Recreation Room of 1520 Cedric Avenue in the Bronx, New York, Clive DJ Kool Herc Campbell introduced his innovative style of disc jockeying and, together with the master of ceremonies engaging the crowd with rap on the microphone while party goers known as B-boys and B-girls danced, introducing a new style, later known as hip-hop,
which combine the elements of a disc jockey, commonly known as a DJ, a master of ceremonies, commonly known as an MC, music, art, fashion, and dance. Whereas, from its humble beginnings in New York City, the music, lyricism, dance, fashion, and art of hip-hop has become a culture now found in communities across the United States and has long been a worldwide phenomenon. Whereas the art and culture of hip-hop is an original American creation. Whereas hip-hop and other genres of music such as jazz from New Orleans, Louisiana, blues from Mississippi, country from the South, and gospel, soul, rock and roll, and indigenous music from across the United States have all transcended boundaries. Whereas the hip-hop genre has been reinvented often over the years since 1973, reflecting the state, city, and region of the music, from G-Funk and Hyphy on the West Coast, to bass and trap in the South, to drill in the Midwest, to many other sounds from coast to coast and from abroad, including the new school, which continues that trend. Whereas hip-hop artists and supporters, originally of African heritage, now transcend many different ages, ethnicities, religions, locations, political affiliations, and socioeconomic statuses, which demonstrate the melting pot quality of hip-hop art and culture. Whereas the art and culture of hip-hop have been adapted in many innovative forms that are inspirational, challenging, humorous, thought-provoking, and spiritual. Whereas hip-hop has provided opportunities for extracurricular activities, youth counseling, creative outlets, physical fitness, vocabulary exercises, poetry, analytical thinking, entertainment, employment, and economic impact, and has become an industry that generates more than $1 billion annually. Whereas hip-hop, art, education, and culture have positive effects on society. Whereas on August 11th, 2021, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip-Hop Celebration Day. Whereas during the month of August 2021, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip-Hop Recognition Month. And whereas during the month of November 2021, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip-Hop History Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Senate, number one, designates August 11th, 2021 as Hip-Hop Celebration Day. Number two, designates the month of August 2021 as Hip-Hop Recognition Month. Number three, designates the month of November 2021 as Hip-Hop History Month. Number four, recognizes the contributions of hip-hop to art and culture. Number five, encourages senators to plan appropriate activities that support the objective of the Back to School Jam of August 11th, 1973. And number six, encourages local governments in the United States to build partnerships with local hip-hop entities and other members of the creative arts and music communities.
This is Rock and Raw for Rock and Raw TV. Instead of reading the word of Christ, be the word of Christ. Instead of following the message of Allah, be the words of Allah. This goes for all religious texts and books. See, that's the consciousness of hip hop. You're not just doing hip hop. You are hip hop. I hope you enjoy the show. And we love you. God loves you. Hip hop loves you. Peace.